What is the scariest story you know that is 100% true?
This was probably a story on the news, but my dad's coworkers came across materials to make a bomb in someone's luggage at the airport he works at. It turns out there was a suicidal IT student that wasn't planning on hurting anyone. He just wanted to assemble the bomb when he got to his destination and then try to kill himself. I heard that he's doing better now, but it's still pretty scary. Homeless people managing to secretly live in people's attics, cupboards, inside a wall. Here's one such story. http://www.nbcnews.com/id/248893337/ns/world_news-weird_news/t/homeless-woman-lived-months/closet-year/#x.
I lived with my deadbeat mum for a little bit in an apartment paid for by somebody else. We had no furniture, and slept on the floor for the most part. I once woke up to a group of strangers wandering around our apartment in the middle of the night. They broke in while we were sleeping, looked around, took nothing of the little we had, and left. I never told my mum. Honestly, looking back on it, they were probably people that my mum was involved with at one point or another. LMAO.
We almost started a nuclear war, and the only reason we didn't is a Russian who disobeyed procedure and didn't launch.
Former co-worker of my brother put mercury, the metal, into his milkshake when no one was looking to try to kill him. He was caught, but apparently there was no motive other than it was something he wanted to do. No animosity or jealousy towards my brother.
Had a girl over for a date. We woke up the next morning, and heard a young girl laughing hysterically in my living room. There was no one in that fucking living room, but we both heard it.
My friend has a carpeted kitchen and bathroom and it is horrifying, by God the horrors.
Ed Gein. Growing up in a neighboring county you would always hear the stories about the horrific things he did. Everyone is still shocked from the memory that it even happened. And no one ever brings it up in the town it happened in, but you can tell by looking at someone from Plainfield that they know, they're trying to forget.
Unit 731. A World War II Japanese unit that experimented on captives, including forced pregnancy, vivisections on children, experiments with frostbite and gangrene. The limits of what humans are capable of is pretty terrifying. The Eliza Lamb story. Woman goes missing at a hotel, they search the whole hotel, or at least, they think they do. A few days later the hotel guests start complaining of off-color, bad-tasting water and low water pressure. Yep, she was decomposing in the water tank. I walked in the creepiest way. I would only mumble odd words with my eyes wide open and unblinking. Creepy things I've done when sleepwalking include, peeing weird places that aren't a bathroom, standing in front of my parents' bed, and walking out of the house and standing in the middle of the street looking up into the sky.
I was in my room sleeping and my closet opened with a creak and I looked over and saw my shoe fall off the rack it was on, and so I turned my light on and no one was there, so I went back to bed with my light on.
The Holocaust. That one South American serial killer that murdered and raped hundreds of children, he'd lure them away with a promise of work or similar, usually into the woods. I believe he was also released and his location is unknown.
I went to pour some chocolate syrup out for chocolate milk and a centipede crawled out. When my mom was a little girl, two men broke into the house in the middle of the night. They came into my mom's room, touched her, and left. She went to tell my grandma about it and she told her it was just a dream and to go back to bed. The next morning the contents of my grandma's purse were scattered and all the money stolen. They came through the front door because it was unlocked. She always locked the doors at night now. That some lady that lives in our house before we moved in almost died when she locked herself in the attic.
The Equidome. A satanic mysterious old WW2 plant that refused to die. http://www.stateofhorror.com/equidome.html. To be honest, any of those weird state books are fucked up. This is my favorite though. The firefighters dying slowly from radiation burns and poisoning, the melting reactor, the evacuation of an entire city. The whole story. And it's not some urban legend or unsolved mystery. That one story about people living in crawl spaces.
https://www.google.com/amp/s/wgntv.com/2019/06/13/mother-finds-man-living-in-closing parenthesis.
Basically anything about the Chernobyl disaster. Even when the recent miniseries made some changes, it's still pretty unsettling. ExxonMobil and other oil tycoons have been jumping in the bandwagon to turn climate change into a political issue, delaying the public's eventual acceptance of the hypothesis that burning fossil fuels contributes to climate change. And that's how much college will cost for Maggie. My sister died the same date that an Ouija board made out of a pizza box predicted twice. Don't fuck with that stuff, kids. Waking up to a drunk crackhead mistakenly entering your house at 2 in the morning, 2 days after your wife dies, when you have a 3-month-old. Dude was so lucky he dropped into the fetal position as I rounded the corner with a bat and no contacts in. On the plus side, he was my yard guy for quite a few years after that.
I've witnessed poltergeists. Doors open and close on their own, footsteps from nobody, etc. It's terrifying.
Vacation in Italy, and burglars broke into my house and stole our car and some other belongings. However, what freaks me out about this is, I was sharing a small room with my sisters. Due to the beds, the room was just enough to walk through. The burglars came through our window, sneaked through the room. They must have been not more than a meter away. I can't imagine what they would have done if any of us would have woken up. We weren't older than 10 years.
I live in Malaysia. We live among people who practice black magic. Those who are lucky enough could see flying head in the sky at nighttime. Not just flying head. There are so much more, things you couldn't even imagine can sometimes still be seen here. Think I'm bullshitting? Come visit us here in Malaysia, not the big city Kuala Lumpur but Sabah. Because there are people who still practicing black magic until today.
A guy who slowly died in a slant toilet while doing a through hike. Snowbound. https://www.outsideonline.com/2336896/snowbound closing parenthesis.
Most the time I don't sleep with the light on, but I felt that if I didn't I was gonna not be asleep.
My most terrible story was breaking my arm when I was jumping over the fence when I was teaching a friend Naruto run. By the way, terrible because my hand remained in the fence and contorted. That story is mine. Have you ever heard of the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
I read like 5 posts at night and am already getting nightmares.
I should not be here because I'm about to go to bed. There's a mentally unstable person residing in the White House.
Forests on fire in Australia. Sad face. We are slowly destroying our planet and no one is doing much about it.
There was this fella in America. He was driving along and he saw a bright light in the sky. He got out to look at it for a second and it vanished. Then he got back in the car and you'll never guess what, he had a beard. Then he got home and said to his wife, "Bit weird. I just got out the car to look at a bright light and I got back in the car and I grew this beard," and she said, "Never mind your beard, where have you been for 3 days?" Not stories but actual ghost sightings videos. Lol, even in plain daylight it's scary as hell the first few times.
The story of John Jones. The man who got stuck in the Nutty Putty cave and died from his blood filling up his lungs and head. He was stuck head first, almost like standing on your head. The cave has been sealed up but his body is still in there since they of course couldn't get him out. Gives me shivers.
A woman was accidentally exposed to 2 drops of organic mercury which seeped through her plastic gloves in a lab. https://www.youtube.com/watch?mark v=NJ7M01JV058 According to medical staff, she was fully conscious and aware as the mercury destroyed her central nervous system, dying after weeks of agony. This is the reason why, when working with mercury, scientists double glove.
During my PhD there was another guy who uncovered his supervisor making up results, so 1 month before his thesis defense, i.e. after a bachelor's, master's, and 4 years of 16-hour-a-day PhD work, they cancelled his stipend and he basically became homeless. 2 years later he's still homeless. He never was able to publish or tell other scientists what he had uncovered, and these days he says he's too depressed to care. Years later. It's so sad.